the mission of the CIA is to recruit spies to steal secrets and then to analyze those secrets to make the best informed policy possible. And then we started trying to come up with operations to hit these guys.
And you're working 19, 20-hour type days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
now,
yeah, it was incredible.
Obviously, like, there's overload. You guys are in full, like, game response mode and everything. But in those 4 days, are there any little pockets of, I'm talking 5 minutes of time in there where, I don't know, you're around the water cooler with people and you are processing, like, talking human to human about what's happening and not necessarily just, oh, did you find this terrorist or whatever?
Right.
Was there any of that?
Yeah. There was a lot of crying. There were some spontaneous resignations. There was a woman I worked with for years when I was in the Directorate of Intelligence. She was a branch chief in the Counterterrorism Center on the analytics side. And she was so panicked when the first tower hit, she got under her desk. And she wouldn't come out from under the desk. Then when the second tower hit, she grabbed her purse and took off. And every single one of her analysts went to Cofer Black a couple days later and said, we don't have confidence in her leadership. And she was asked to resign.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was Cofer like during these days? Because he was one of the guys who was an architect of what became the paramilitary response mission, and obviously was pretty legendary for that. But how much did you have any one-on-one time with him at all during this?
I did, multiple times.
He had to be pretty pissed.
He was pissed. Pissed is an understatement because he had been screaming from the rooftops that this was going to happen.
Yep.
And nobody would listen to him. And it wasn't just Cofer. It was George Tenet, and it was Dick Clark as well. Dick Clark was the counterterrorism czar at the NSC. He was a Clinton holdover. And the Bush people just kind of sidelined him and didn't pay any attention to him. They're like, this gay guy yelling about terrorism. China is the threat. I remember that coming from the Bush people from the get-go. It was about China. Like, you agency people, you're all obsessed with these semi-literate Arabs. It's China that's going to be our problem. And so Cofer, I got to say, I probably disagree with Cofer on 99% of issues. Cofer was a genuine hero in those days after 9/11. A genuine hero. He became kind of a wartime commander and one that you could respect and follow. Now, the whole paramilitary thing, I think, was a grave mistake.
Really?
I do.
Really? In Afghanistan?
Yes.
Why?
Because that's up to the military. They're trained to do that. Let the military do what they're good at doing.
But the military was involved with that. I know guys who were involved.
They were on loan to the CIA. They were CIA-run operations. For example, Ground Branch, Air Branch, all those guys, even if they're active duty, they're seconded to the CIA.
That's right.
That's a mistake.
Why? Wait. Hold on 1 second. I shit on pretty much everything we did as from a strategy standpoint. Not our guys who were over there, but from a strategy standpoint, from suits in Washington, D.C., in the global war on terror, like, we fucked everything up. The one thing I've always cited as an incredible, like, modern military masterpiece, which was run by the CIA in this case, was the paramilitary response in Afghanistan. You're the first guy I've ever heard.
I think it was a mistake. The mission of the CIA is to recruit spies to steal secrets and then to analyze those secrets to make the best informed policy possible. If you're going to do paramilitary organizations, why have the para in front of it? Let the military do what it's good at doing.
So you're just saying you think it was a mistake from a order of business standpoint?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So
I'm glad we did it. Those guys are awesome. I mean, you have to have people like that.
But you would agree that the end result of what they did at the beginning, I'm talking about the beginning stages here, people, not where it ended up.
Heroic.
Yeah, it was pretty unbelievable what they did.
Totally unbelievable and absolutely necessary.
But don't you think in a time like that, and I want to come back to actual 9/11 in a second and some of the buildup, but in a time like that of a quote-unquote unprecedented situation, sometimes like, the job titles are going to have to get blurry?
No. I would rather these guys answer to the Joint Chiefs of Staff than answer to Jose Rodriguez.
Oh, I see where this is going now. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you some of the characters who you think were given power in that you don't.
Well,
like.
there's no oversight.
Yeah.
None. Zero respect for the law.
Can you expand upon that?
Sure. Just as an example, something that you and I were talking about offline. You carry out an illegal torture program and you videotape it, okay, at a secret prison somewhere overseas. The White House gets wind of it and they say, okay, what you did was over and above what we approved. It's probably illegal. We may need to prosecute some of your people. We heard that you taped it. So whatever you do, don't destroy the tapes. And then Jose Rodriguez says, destroy the tapes as quickly. Destroy the tapes as quickly as you can. Ay, caramba, there are tapes?
And he was never holding the water. Never.
He came out to Pakistan when I was there. He came with Cofer.
You're talking about the godfather of the black sites, by the way, just for people following.
Yes, he's the godfather of that's a great way to say it.
Yeah.
He came out to Pakistan when I was there, and so I took them over to our liaison partners to me, and it's very, very senior level. We're talking 4-star generals, and the Pakistanis have this funny. It's a very Pakistani phrase that there was a great hue and cry, right? It's like a 1940s, 30s era.
Yeah,
yeah. So they say there was a great hue and cry. I am telling you, sir, there was great apprehension amongst the people.
This is a historical representation of a real story. It's not racist. YouTube.
No,
Don't
this is just the way it was.
us.
And Jose says, there was a hue and a cry. He's mocking them. And they said, yes, sir, great hue and cry. Very controversial. And he's like, the hue I understand. The cry? This is serious. And I was like, fuck you, man. What's wrong with you? You flew halfway around the world to mock these people who are putting their lives on the line for us? What the fuck's wrong with you? Of course, again, my job is to sit quietly against the wall and take notes. So afterwards...
What year is this? Like,
This was January of 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quick question. I'm not disagreeing with you on this point.
Not at all.
With him. But again, back to, I'm talking the 8 weeks after 9/11, the paramilitary stuff, not the black site stuff, not all that.
Yeah.
That's a separate issue.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you're to me, maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but you're raising the point of like, oh, a Jose Rodriguez, a guy like that ended up getting power over in the Middle East. Are you saying because they set the precedent with that paramilitary thing at the beginning?
Yes.
Okay.
They created a monster without realizing that they were creating a monster.
I see what you're saying.
I can't even believe I'm going to say this out loud. I remain all for targeting people who pose a clear and present danger to the United States.
Yeah.
You have to.
Absolutely.
That's how we keep our people safe.
Yes.
But there has to be a chain of command. It can't just be black and not open to oversight or to legal authority.
Right.
At the end, somebody has to answer to our elected officials. We have House and Senate intelligence oversight committees for a reason, because we made this mistake in the 40s, 50s, 60s, up to 1975. And, to me, in a lot of ways, we repeated those mistakes. Like, you give a guy who I believe is a psychopath, Jose, who enjoys killing for the sake of killing, because he thinks that's, you need people to do these dark things in shadows. And no, actually, you don't. You need to inform the congressional oversight committees, we're going to do this operation because it's going to keep Americans safe. You can't say, hey, can I do this one operation? And then they say, yes, you can do that one operation. And then you do 10 times more than that.
Right.
And then destroy the evidence and say, yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.